people come to community sport for many different reasons, but a lot of that comes down to social connection and that support, consistency, routine, learning to collaborate and operate in a team environment too. So it's really about, let's take a step back. Why do we exist as a club, and how do we actually create that environment and that culture that we want? Because when we get that right, community football clubs can act as a protective factor to people's mental health and well-being. So I think that's where really thinking about the values, the mission and the vision of our clubs is really important, because that then guides everyone's behaviour and makes sure that we are behaving aligned to our expectations.
The conversations that you have around mental health and all the related areas, the better you're going to get at it. And the other thing that we see is that fundamentally people are going to go to their relationships. So I think everyone probably has these conversations a lot of time with their friends, their family, people that they're close to within the club environment. And I think what we said, just because there's a player development or a sports psychologist that exists in the elite infrastructure, that doesn't mean that, the players are going to use that resource straight away. So I think it's, practice it, try and understand how it works. The ones that are going to come in that really unique niche area that are need a critical response, have the processes ready, because that'll make you comfortable for if something does escalate to that point. The process to get to the right people in a timely manner. But most of these conversations are going to be the ones similar to the ones you have with your friends, and that's what community footy is about, is creating that culture where you want to have the conversation. It'll be peer-to-peer, locker room chat, and creating an environment where it's safe for people to have these conversations and know that the support structures exist.
In our creed at Williston, we have one in, all in. And so I sort of decided to challenge the committee a little bit in terms of that one in, all in, and say, well, how about we turn that and think about mental health around one in, all in. Let's actually bolt onto that and make it not only around those governance issues, but let's make it around that holistic, whole of person approach to mental health, people's well-being, connectivity, and giving people purpose and meaning, broader than just coming to actually play a game or be a volunteer. Let's actually really wrap that around and give them upskill them, build some community capacity around how we actually respond and support people who are facing challenges or in distress.
I think fundamentally it becomes not the responsibility of one individual, and it becomes a real inherent part of the team and environmental culture that exists, and therefore it forms a really level structure that the coach participates at the highest level, the senior players participate, and there's a real care. And I think fundamentally the clubs that do it really well get that there is a link to performance, and get that having people with balanced lives, having strong identities away from football, strong services available to make sure their mental health sits in the right spot on that spectrum. And then when it does fall to the other end of the spectrum, they've got the ability the environment can pick them up. And I think that's fundamentally the identification of that is what's really important.
And I think that's the great thing about the Tackle Your Feelings program. It gives that opportunity for a psychologist to come into a club to deliver some really excellent content, but then continue to work with that club if the club is interested, and depending on what the club needs. So it can be really customized. It might be that as a club you would like some extra sessions with your players on sleep and nutrition, maybe emotion management. It could be focusing on high performance. It might be wanting to work a little bit more with your higher up players. So there's lots of different, I suppose, session facilitation or group facilitation that can happen. It might be that you're interested on the team dynamics within your committee. So psychologists could even spend some time with the committee and doing a little bit of a planning session and a bit of a facilitating session there. Also, of course, as Adam mentioned, being more of that referral base. So if there are individuals within the club who would like to start a relationship with a psychologist, that Tackle Your Feelings psychologist, if they work in private practice, can always be a really good referral mechanism and option as well. I know there's been quite a lot of Tackle Your Feelings psychologists who have created really long-standing relationships with the clubs that they have gone to deliver the program with, and even years down the track they still come back every now and then to check in with players, just get a bit of a sense for how things are going as well. So I think The beauty of this is that it is flexible and it can be really customized to what your club is interested in and what your club needs as well.
The mental health literacy of society has come a long way in the last 5 to 10 years, and what you don't want is your club environment to have a lower baseline level of literacy. Than when people come into that environment, they don't feel as good as they do at work or at school or wherever they are. And I think that's how you tell that story and how you communicate that is really critical. All the stakeholder management that I do and we do within the industry, fundamentally, you can have as much data as you like, you can have as much consensus in playing groups, but you still got to tell a story to make people want to connect to it and understand. So I think how you do that is really critical.